Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome back to Uba's Trending Gist, where we break down stories making waves across Nigeria. Today, we have a very spicy one for you. It is a tale of two completely different realities clashing in the public space. On one hand, we have the United States mission in Nigeria putting a massive spotlight on the economic hardship citizens are facing versus the lavish spending of our leaders. And on the other hand, we have a prominent governor essentially declaring that all governors are already locked in to support President Tinubu for second time in 2027. It is a classic case of external pressure versus internal politics. So, is it the US interfering or are they just saying what we are all thinking? And what does this political loyalist mean for an average Nigerian? Let's get into it. First, let's watch the first part of this clip from Arise News. So sit back and take a watch.
The United States mission in Nigeria on Tuesday highlighted Nigeria's plummeting economy. In a startling post on X, the post referenced various media outlets, including a publication by the Africa Report titled Nigeria's Ruling Class Splashes Billions on Government Houses. The report highlighted how governors lavished billions on building or renovating government houses despite the prevailing economic hardship in the country. It also noted that while President Bola Ahmed Tinubu asked Nigerians to endure the economic hardship resulting from his policies, the governors do not share in the sacrifice. The U.S. mission also shared quotes from transparency and accountability advocacy groups on its official handle, eliciting a flurry of reactions. Let me take the tweet from the U.S. mission. They wrote, "While Nigerians are urged to endure economic hardship like labor pains, some governors are splurging billions on new government houses." They posted a link from the Africa Report. They also posted a quote from Budget Nigeria saying, Budget warns that instead of funding schools, clinics, or agriculture, leaders prioritize buildings they barely used. And then there's another from Sislak Nigeria saying that there is more money, little accountability, and no priority. Such alleged lack of fiscal responsibility fuels inequality and erodes public trust. With the hashtag Transparency Tuesday. Have you been following U.S. mission? I mean, this is about the first time I'm seeing this hashtag Transparency Tuesday. They are not holding back. And I didn't understand why that tweet came out yesterday with the, that hashtag Transparency Tuesday, but I'll come to you. Let me take a tweet about a reaction. Some people might agree or disagree with Onyali Kalu, who wrote, "It's deeply concerning that the official social media handle of the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria appears to be amplifying narratives aligned with opposition parties, particularly through the promotion of content that consistently undermines the APC-led federal government and President Tinubu's administration. While we respect the sovereignty of nations and the principles of free speech, it is expected that foreign diplomatic missions operate with neutrality, especially in a sensitive and highly polarized political climate. Any perception of bias, intentional or otherwise, risks compromising the spirit of mutual respect and non-interference that guides international diplomacy. Nigeria's democracy must be left to Nigerians. We welcome constructive engagement from our international partners, but not in a way that could embolden domestic actors bent on destabilization under the guise of political opposition." I mean, that is a thought there. Do you like that?
Very beautifully expressed. Yeah. I think it encompasses it all. Yeah. There's several issues, but I think the main issue the biggest takeaway from this is, are we comfortable with any country that is outside of our borders, being this vocal with regards to criticizing a sitting government? I think governance, accountability, and all things surrounding are important conversations to have, but they should always be done within the realm of diplomatic. There's a reason why we call it diplomacy, because there's a certain tone that it has to take. And this coming on Twitter, it felt a little bit like an attack. Now, we know that the current American administration, Donald Trump's administration, does do things in a very non-traditional way. However, it is also always important as a diplomat, as a representative of your president and your government, to ensure that you respect the sovereignty of the country where you operate. Because what this does is it amplifies other conversations that are taking place. What are these conversations? African governments are consistently, not just African, developing country governments are consistently consistently accusing some of these global superpowers of interfering, of instigating regime change, of doing what we call color revolutions, which is when they get involved with various NGOs and sectors of opposition to destabilize the nation. So that is of huge concern. Yes. And it also follows, if you remember, around Democracy Day, there was also a communique that was issued around freedom of speech and so forth, which embodied the rest of the diplomatic corps. At least the tone of that particular message had been more around the realms of the rule of law. But this one really felt extremely charged and opinionated. Is it true? Yes. The governors are enjoying a largesse as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. FAC allocations have gone sky high and they're enjoying that. Right. And we're not seeing a lot of developmental initiatives from it. It's correct. However, this is not how we would expect a diplomatic mission to comment on the politics of the day. Diplomatic missions are always supposed to remain non-partisan.
Well said, Vimbai, well said. I mean, talking about some of the comments that they raised, Mission X, I mean, especially with the governors and all of that. Meanwhile.
Wow, that is as direct as it gets from the diplomatic mission. The US mission in Nigeria, using the hashtag Transparency Tuesday, essentially called out the hypocrisy of Nigeria's ruling class. They amplified a report from the African Report titled Nigeria's ruling class splashes billions on government houses, while quoting President Tinubu's call for Nigerians to endure hardship like labor pains. Now, some people immediately call this foreign interference, and you can understand why. It is unusual for an embassy's official social handle to be this controversial. They are directly highlighting the disconnect between the government's message of sacrifice and its action. However, it is important to note what they did here. They didn't create this information out of thin air. They quoted and referenced Nigeria and the African media outlets and civil society organizations like the Budget and the CISLAC or CASLAC. I don't know if I got it. That is CISLAC. In essence, they used local voices to hold a mirror up our leaders. They are saying, this is what your own people and watchdog groups are reporting. What's going on is a very strategic move that puts the focus squarely on the issue of accountability. But while the US is focused on this, our political leaders are focused on something else entirely. 2027. Let's watch the second parts of the clip. Take a watch.
Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has said that it will be nearly impossible for any Nigerian governor to oppose President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. Speaking at the Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation's two-day government citizen engagement event in Kaduna on Tuesday, Uba Sani attributed this unwavering support to Tinubu's unprecedented level of assistance to state governors and local governments, surpassing any previous president in Nigeria's history. He argued that this significant backing has fostered broad loyalty among sub-national leaders. Let's take a look.
Most of us who are the leaders in northern Nigeria, I think we should be open enough to take the blame because there was silence. Where was our voices? Nobody was speaking in the last 10 years. Nobody was speaking in the last 15 years. Nobody was talking in the last 20 years. And we were sitting watching. The developmental indices in northern Nigeria, both the northwest, the northeast, and the north central, have deteriorated completely in the last 20 years to date. If we don't take very serious action, we might not have a region called the northern Nigeria. So we have to be careful. And we should stop blaming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I can attest to the fact that we are getting a lot of support from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And this support is not because we are APC governors. The support quote across all governors, irrespective of party affiliation. That is why today, I am not sure if there's any governor in Nigeria that can come out and say that he can go against the president, because the president is doing to us what no president in of Nigeria have done for subnationals in terms of support.
All right, Uba Sani here, he has made this point, and he actually got a lot of Nigerians speaking, but he actually spoke the truth. A lot of governors are getting support from, the federal government in terms of all the allocations and everything that, has been going on so far since the president assumed office. Your thoughts?
In as much as I like Uba Sani, I disagree with him. You have no right to say that. Yes, they get support. Is the money free? Is it not the money from the sufferings we are going through with subsidy removal
With
that is now being channeled to the state? So it's one way or the other. It's still our money, and you should stop acting like President Tinubu is dashing them the money. It's still our money. It's our common. No. With due respect, Mr. Uba Sani, you're wrong.
Okay.
Every governor has a right to be able to support whoever they're going to support.
All right.
The largest is from the federal port, our commonwealth. It's not that President Tinubu is out of his volition. And these were part of the things he said when he removed subsidy removal. And with due respect, Nigerians are suffering the effect of the subsidy removal. So they should not even go there. And please, with due respect, this mindset that, it's a governor that determines who wins the state mindset that we have, it's not true. Okay. Ifeanyi Okowa was from Delta State. He lost Delta State. He was vice presidential candidate in last year. He lost Delta State to Peter Obi. So please, let's even, he's talking partisanship now. This I don't support.
But what about the fact that he said no governor will oppose Tinubu?
No governor will oppose.
He
has no right. He should speak for himself. Or is it all the governors? How will he speak for all the governors?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm even shocked that Uba Sani is saying something like this.
Go ahead.
I respect him too much for him to say something like that now. He should speak for himself. Is it all the governors? I know governors that will oppose Tinubu and they will come out and will tell you. Moving on. As regards the American thing, see, we open ourselves up to the Americans to do all of this. Yes, I get your point totally about sovereignty. I also get your point that what they are saying is right. But we open ourselves up. Are we not the same Nigerians that are so quick to go and say, give them visa ban, politicians that are doing wrong in this country? Are we not the same Nigerians that are so quick to go and open our ports down for them to be able to give us aid? Are we not the Nigerians that are so dependent on their aid? Is it today we know that America always interferes in global politics? Salvador Allende in Chile. Is it today that we know that America funded a national daily in Chile to be able to usurp Salvador Allende and supported the likes of Augusto Pinochet? Is it today we know? It's not today we know now. So let's stop deceiving ourselves. All the NGOs that you see that are cited, their budget and all of that, is it today we know that NGOs get funding from American governments? So let's stop deceiving ourselves. That's why we say for us to be a sovereign nation, we must start with credible, sensible leadership. A leadership that caters to his own people. A leadership that does not disgrace his own people. When they get a lot of money, they go and build government houses. A leadership that invests in the welfare of his own people. So that's where we should start from. It's not today America has been poke-nosing into the affairs of every government. And they will constantly poke-nose. Well, you know, in this country, when we had to wait for John Kerry to come and broker peace deal between Buhari and Goodluck Jonathan, are we not the ones constantly calling them for peace? Is it not the same political actors that are bringing them to meddle into our affairs if it favors them or it doesn't favor them? So why are we surprised?
All right. Dr. Abati, your thoughts on both?
Just to state a principle of international, customary international law. Article 41 of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1969, states the principle of non-interference in domestic affairs. And the whole idea of it is to ensure cordial and stable relations between missions operating in host countries. So what the United States has done would seem very unusual, because if you look at Article 2, Sub 4 and Sub 7 of the UN Charter, it also includes this prohibition of interference in domestic affairs. Also, that was the decision of the International Court of Justice in DRC versus Uganda. So that's the position of the law. However, you find countries violating it, and they run the risk of being declared persona non grata, because when you get involved in domestic affairs, it could cause diplomatic friction. So it's not just about sovereignty, it's about the very principle of diplomacy itself. However, some countries consider themselves superior countries, and that's why they go beyond the boundaries. And America, under President Trump, has been behaving like the superpower controlling the entire world. However, one caveat is that in that post, you see that they try to play safe by quoting Nigerian bodies. 6 lakh budget Nigeria. So it's as if they are providing a summary of public perception in Nigeria since they write diplomatic notes. In other words, the intelligence that these missions, that's embassies, diplomatic missions, that they rely on, is in fact provided by the local people themselves. And so you have a country where people are criticizing their government, they are demarketing their own country. If they want to write their diplomatic notes, you know, their dispatches, they just summarize what Nigerians are saying. So if you take them to task, the other side of it is that, well, we're just reflecting public opinion. What they have said about transparency and accountability, I ask the question, is it true or false? Answer. It is true.
All right. Your thoughts on Uba Sani quickly, and then we move.
Well, I mean, President, I said President, maybe he will be President one day. Governor Uba Sani was speaking at the Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation event. And it was in the context of Northerners criticizing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as not doing enough for the North.
Right.
The North having given him 64% of the votes, 5.6 million out of the 8 million plus votes that he got in the 2023 election. And he was defending the president to say that, in fact, the president is doing a lot for the North, and that governors have been so well treated by the president that, in fact, he doesn't think anybody will go against him.
Did he lie?
In 2027.
Right.
And he was not alone. The SGF, George Akume, the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, the Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, also spoke along the same line. So the context is important.
Very important.
Did you catch that? Governor Sani of Kaduna State boldly declared that it would be nearly impossible for any Nigerian governor to oppose President Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. Now, let's connect the dots. His reasons. He says the president has given governors an unprecedented level of assistance, more than any previous president. What is this assistance? It's the massive increase in federal allocation to states, which is a direct result of the fuel subsidy removal, the very policy causing the economic hardship that the US tweet was talking about. This is the core of the issue right here. The policy that is inflicting pain on the masses is creating a financial windfall for state governments. And according to Governor Sani, that financial windfall is already being leveraged to secure political loyalty for an election that is still 3 years away. This statement, whether international or not, confirms the very premise of the US mission's tweet. While the people are making sacrifices, the political class is consolidating its power and resources. So, let's put this all together. These two stories aren't separate, they are deeply intertwined. One story shows the consequences of a policy on the people, and the other shows the political benefit of that same policy for the powerful. On the question of the US mission's tweet, while it toes the line of diplomatic protocol, I believe it was a necessary nudge. They use credible existing records to highlight a glaring contradiction in an era where democracy and accountability are global values. Pointing out a government's failure to lead by example isn't just meddling, it's a form of soft power diplomacy that aligns with the sentiments of Nigerian people. They are simply amplifying the conversations we are already having in our homes and on our streets. However, Governor Uba Sani's statement is far more revealing and, frankly, more concerning for our democracy. He has laid bare the transactional nature of Nigerian politics. His statement suggests that the support for the president is not based on the successes of his policies for the people, but on the financial benefits flowing to the state's governors. It raises a fundamental question. If the governor's loyalty is secured by federal allocations, who are they truly serving? The president, who controls the fund, or the citizens of their states who are bearing the brunt of the economic policies? These dynamics creates a dangerous political reality. It means that even the labor pains of the citizen doesn't result in a healthy economic baby. The political allegiance of the governors is already bought and paid for. It undermines the very idea that leaders should be judged on their performance and their ability to improve the lives of their constituents. Ultimately, the entire episode exposes the deep chasm between the governed and the governing in Nigeria. The people are asked to endure, while the political elite seems to be insulating themselves from the consequences and planning for the next election cycle. The US just happened to say the quiet part out loud, and Governor Sani perhaps inadvertently confirmed it. It is a complex situation with no easy answer. What are your thoughts? Was the US mission right to post that tweet, or was it an overstep? And what do you make of Governor Sani's declaration of unwavering support for the president? Drop your comments below, and I would like to read them. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe to Uba's Trending Gist for more incisive analysis on the stories that matters. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.